Major crashed out. Did he cheat? The homecoming was perfect. Streamers, balloons, a crowd of cheering families. David stepped off the bus, his eyes scanning the crowd until they locked on mine. The relief on his face was palpable. It was everything I had imagined during the long months of his deployment to Afghanistan. He was thinner, his face etched with lines that hadn't been there before. But he was home. Safe. The first few weeks were bliss. Reconnecting, laughing, falling back into the rhythm of our life. I cooked his favorite meals, we took long walks, and we just held each other. It was like hitting the reset button. But then the nightmares started. They were always the same. David would thrash in his sleep, yelling in Pashto, reliving some unseen horror. I'd wake him gently, holding him until the tremors subsided. He'd be drenched in sweat, his eyes wide with fear. He wouldn't talk about them. Just a bad dream, he'd say, pulling me close. Then came the mood swings. One minute he'd be his old, loving self, the next. He'd be withdrawn, irritable, snapping at the slightest thing. I chalked it up to PTSD, the invisible wounds of war. I read everything I could find, trying to understand what he was going through. I encouraged him to talk to Dr. Hayes, the therapist at the base who specialized in trauma. He finally agreed, but he was still reluctant to open up. Emily was there too, always there. She and David had served together in Afghanistan. She was a fellow officer, a close friend. I knew they'd been through hell together, and I tried to be understanding. But there was something about her that always made me uneasy. The way she looked at him, the easy camaraderie they shared. It wasn't overt, but it was there, simmering beneath the surface. One Saturday night, David said he was going out for a drink with Mark, a buddy from his unit. I was relieved. He needed to reconnect with his friends, to have a normal night out. I curled up on the couch with a book, happy to have some quiet time. He came home late, stumbling through the door. I rushed to help him, worried he was sick. He mumbled something about having too much to drink and collapsed on the bed, fully clothed. I managed to get his boots off before he passed out completely. The next morning, he didn't remember anything. I don't remember coming home, he said, his brow furrowed in confusion. I just remember being at the bar with Mark, then nothing. You crashed out, David, I said, trying to keep my voice even. Mark brought you home. He said you'd had a rough night. He shook his head, still looking confused. I don't understand. I don't usually drink that much. I didn't push it. I figured it was a one-off thing, a consequence of the stress he was under. But then it happened again. And again. Each time. He'd have no memory of hours at a time. He called them blackouts, but they felt like something more. One night, after another episode, I decided to do some investigating. I started small, casually asking Mark about the night David crashed out. Yeah, man, Dave was pretty messed up, Mark said, chuckling. He was talking about some heavy stuff, about what happened over there. Em was trying to calm him down. She's good at that. Emily was there, I asked, my heart sinking. Yes, she came by later. Said she wanted to make sure Dave was okay. They talked for a while. Then I think she helped him get a cab. That didn't match David's story. He'd said he was only with Mark. I started paying closer attention to David's phone. I knew it was wrong, a violation of his privacy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I found a series of cryptic text messages with an unknown number. They were short, almost coded. Thinking of you. Can't stop. Meet. I confronted David. He denied everything, claiming he didn't know who the messages were from. Sarah, you're being paranoid, he said, his voice rising. This deployment has messed with my head, but I would never do anything to hurt you. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But the doubts were gnawing at me, eating away at my trust. I confided in Jennifer, my best friend. She listened patiently, offering a sympathetic ear. Sarah, I know you want to believe him, but you can't ignore the red flags, she said. The memory loss, the secret messages, it doesn't add up. Maybe he's not cheating, maybe it's just the PTSD, but you need to find out what's really going on. I made an appointment with Dr. Hayes, hoping he could shed some light on David's condition. It's possible that David is experiencing fugue states, Dr. Hayes said, his voice measured. Trauma can cause people to dissociate, to lose chunks of time. It's a defense mechanism, a way of coping with overwhelming stress. But could he be doing things during those times that he doesn't remember? I asked, my voice trembling. Dr. Hayes hesitated. It's possible, he said, but I can't speculate. David needs to be the one to tell you what's going on. I left his office feeling more confused than ever. Was David genuinely struggling with PTSD, or was he using it as a cover for something else? One afternoon, I overheard a conversation between David and Emily in the backyard. I was inside, watering the plants, when I heard their voices through the open window. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, David said, his voice strained. We just need to be careful, Emily replied. It'll be okay, we just need to get through this. I couldn't hear the rest of the conversation, but those few words were enough to send my heart racing. What are you keeping up? I wondered. What do you need to get through? That night, I found a receipt in David's jacket pocket. It was for a hotel room in Fayetteville, a town about an hour away. The date on the receipt was from last week, the night he crashed out. I confronted him, waving the receipt in his face. What is this, David? I demanded, my voice shaking with rage. What were you doing in Fayetteville? He paled, stammering, trying to explain. I don't know, he said. I don't remember going there. Maybe I was sleepwalking. Sleepwalking doesn't involve checking into a hotel room, I screamed. Who were you with, David? Was it Emily? He denied it, of course. He swore he hadn't been with anyone, that he had no idea how the receipt got there. But I didn't believe him. The lies were suffocating me. The argument escalated, turning into a shouting match. I accused him of cheating, of betraying me. He accused me of being insecure, of not trusting him. Suddenly, Emily appeared at the front door. She'd heard the commotion. What's going on? She asked, her voice concerned. Stay out of this, Emily, I said, my eyes blazing. This is between me and my husband. David's my friend, she said, stepping inside. I'm just trying to help. Help, I scoffed. Is that what you call it? Helping him cheat on his wife? Emily's face flushed. That's not fair, Sarah, she said. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think I do, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. I think you've been sleeping with my husband. Emily looked at David, her eyes pleading. He looked away, unable to meet her gaze. Tell her, David, I said, my voice breaking. Tell her the truth. He remained silent. The silence was deafening. Finally, he spoke, his voice barely a whisper. I don't know what happened, he said. I don't remember anything. I didn't know if he was lying or telling the truth, and it didn't even matter anymore. He started going to therapy more frequently. He admitted he had a problem, that he needed help. I wanted to be supportive, but the trust was gone, shattered. I visited the hotel in Fayetteville. The clerk on duty vaguely recalled a man fitting David's description checking in alone. She didn't remember seeing anyone else with him, but she also mentioned he seemed out of it, almost like he was on something. The barman there that night remembered David, but he thought he left with a blonde. He was unsure if it was Emily or not, as it was dark. Mark came over one evening, unannounced. He looked uncomfortable. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, Sarah, he said, about everything. Dave's been through a lot. He was struggling in Afghanistan, and Emily was always there for him. He depended on her. Depended on her how, Mark? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He hesitated, then said, I don't know, man. Just they were close, really close. It's a messed up situation. I ran into Emily at the commissary a few weeks later. We hadn't spoken since the night of the argument. Sarah, I wanted to say, I'm sorry if I caused you any pain, she said, her voice sincere. Did you sleep with my husband, Emily? I asked, cutting to the chase. She looked me in the eye, her expression unreadable. I care about David, she said, a lot. We went through something over there that you can't even imagine. He needed me and I was there for him, but I would never intentionally hurt you. She didn't deny it. She didn't confirm it. She just offered a carefully worded non-answer. David and I started couples therapy. We talked about our feelings, our fears, our resentments. He seemed genuinely committed to making things work, to rebuilding our marriage. But the doubt lingered, a constant shadow in the back of my mind. One day I noticed Emily wearing a necklace, a delicate silver chain with a small, heart-shaped pendant. It looked familiar, too familiar. Then it hit me. It was the necklace I had lost a few months ago, the one David had given me for our anniversary. I had searched everywhere for it, but I had just assumed I'd lost it somewhere. Where had Emily gotten it? Had David given it to her? Or had she taken it from our house? I still don't know the truth. Did David cheat on me during those missing hours? Was it a severe PTSD episode, a fugue state fueled by trauma? Or was it something else entirely? We are still together, trying to move forward. But I look at David differently now. I see the lines on his face, the haunted look in his eyes, and I wonder what secrets he's hiding. I see Emily, always hovering in the background, and I wonder what really happened between them. The trust is gone, maybe forever. I love David, but I don't know if I can ever fully trust him again. The war may be over for him, but it rages on inside me. I saw Emily again last week at the PX. She was wearing a different necklace this time. A simple gold band with a tiny inscription on the inside. I couldn't read what it said, but I noticed something else. On her hand, the middle finger, a ring was visible, a ring that looked exactly like David's wedding band. It was strange. David mentioned he had been experiencing some issues with his ring. It was getting too tight. He had taken it off for the time being. I walked away, numb. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I ever will.